Right. Hello, folks. We are back for the Zonal Weakness brought to you by Ghana Football Fantasy, powered by Fantasy Football Scout. And look who's here. Bethany has joined us. Welcome, Bethany. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, good to be back. Feels ages with international break and things in the between. And then I've got into UCL fantasy this year, so for the first time ever. So I've been like focused on that, and now I've got to get my head back into FPL.
Yeah, I saw your team on Twitter. And I think how did it go, by the way, your
It's gone
UCL
all right,
fantasy?
actually. Yeah, it's gone all right, actually. Like 180k, something like that. So 89 points. I quite like it. I like the format of it that you can like sub people like out and change your captain and things. So yeah, we'll see how it goes at the end of the season. But maybe I might do better at that than I am at FPL. Yeah, last week in FPL was a bit frustrating. I got a green arrow, so I can't be too like I'm heading in the right direction. I'm still at 4.5 million, but heading in the right direction. But I really wanted to bench boost last week. So on my bench, I had Dubravka, Tarkowski, Van de Ven, and Sarr. And if Sarr hadn't been injured, I'd have bench boosted. I knew I was going to end up with points on the bench, and I kept changing which players I put on the bench, but I knew I was going to get points. And yeah, I got 25 points from 3 players. And frustrating. But I had Haaland captain. Haaland was my transfer in and captained him, so that was nice. But Salah continues to frustrate me as a non-owner. That the jammy owners keep getting his points after the final whistle should have gone.
I don't know if that was a shot fired at me, but anyway, I think it was more towards the millions of Salah owners, to be honest. But anyway, I like the fact that, you mentioned about, sorry?
I was just going to say, how are you doing? How's your team looking?
Well, I'm doing okay, and I'm kind of okay, and I'm doing well, and to be honest, but my team kind of did a bit of a surprise. To be honest, I didn't really expect. I expected the team to do even worse because the fixtures didn't really look great. But anyway, my defense got a clean sheet except Nottingham Forest. But the midfield, I mean, Salah was my captain, so there you go. And then Haaland was my other striker. That kind of. So I wasn't expecting that all those points, and it looked like at a point, at least as you mentioned rightly, from the Burnley game, it looked like Salah is not going to score, and my captain is going to blank. But it came at the right moment with the penalty and stuff, which is great. But then I wasn't expecting Haaland to score. But then Haaland ended up scoring 2 goals and nearly could have scored a hat trick, to be honest. So that then I was like, why did I put the captaincy on Haaland and why did I? But then again, I have Bruno Fernandes. You can understand as to what was my reason for not captaining Haaland. Yeah, so sometimes emotions get the worst out of you, so it's okay. I'll take it. I got 60 points and I'm still below 5 million, so which is okay. Not being able to really focus too much on FPL this season, but it is what it is. There are other priorities sometimes that comes in. Yeah, so let's do one thing. The Zona has been doing well, to be honest, at least. Seems to be getting a little bit of an attention. And I know this is the first time that we actually sent the thread out yesterday, but we were not able to put the recording in. But yeah, this will go as a separate post right now on Twitter immediately after we finish recording. And then, yeah, that's it. It'll be there. So sorry, audience, if you're looking for it, here it is. And of course, Bethany is going to discuss it, but this is the zonal weakness for Game Week 5. And if you haven't followed, liked, or subscribed, please do so now because we are adding more and more content, not only on everything, but also on zonal. This year, we also have the goals considered from the zonal point of view. So do give us a follow, like, and subscribe, of course, and we would sincerely appreciate that. And all this data that you see on our channel are taken from Fantasy Football Scout members area. If you're interested in the membership, please click in the link in the description below. And of course, you get a 5% discount. Yeah. So there you go. Over to the table and over to you, Bethany. What really stands out?
Okay. We'll start with Liverpool, and they've got the derby against Everton this week. Not lots of players standing out from Liverpool, which is quite good as somebody that's got to play 2 Everton players. Gakpo and Kirkus are the ones standing out on the zonal down that right flank. Gakpo would be my preference there. Kirkers, while he looks really nice on the zonal, you've got to be really careful with his minutes. He went off before half-time last week and only played 20 minutes midweek as well. So I think Liverpool players right now are play who you've got, but I wouldn't be going for anybody new at the moment until we see what's going to happen when Isaac comes in the team, till we see how the defenders settle down with players like Kirkers. I'd play who you've got, but I wouldn't be buying anybody this week.
Okay.
Next up we've got Arsenal, interesting. Obviously somebody like Gyökeres, I know lots of people have bought him already. So nice to see that he's looking good for the zonal this week with chances conceded down the centre. One thing just to point out from that is that this is obviously over the last 4 matches, the first 4 game weeks, but some of that was before they had Donnarumma. And I do think that makes a difference. So I do think that will be a trickier game for Arsenal than the first couple of weeks might have been. I think Man City looked much stronger with Donnarumma behind the goal. But otherwise, Gyökeres could be a nice shout this week. Then we've got Man City, and Arsenal have been doing Arsenal things. I don't know why we don't just all start the season every year with like double or triple Arsenal defense, because they do it. They've done it for like the last 3 years. One of the best defenses. You can see here, it's not looking great for any Man City players particularly. So Haaland, we know Haaland can score anytime, and he is looking on fire. He looks like he wants it so much more than he did last season. So I'd be happy to play him. I'm not necessarily sure I'd be captaining him. And if you've got anybody to play over Ryan Diaz, I'd probably be playing them instead, because Arsenal don't concede many chances. Next up, we've got Forest, and obviously on paper, this looks great. Can you give me 2 seconds? Because I had plugged in my laptop, but it's apparently not charging. So give me 2 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Sure.
There we go. Sorry about that. I'll start that again.
No worries.
So
no worries. We can continue.
Nottingham Forest. On paper, it looks amazing. Obviously, all those greens against Burnley. If you've got Forest players and you've kept them this long, you need to play them definitely. But they have looked really poor so far. So I wouldn't be buying any of them. And after this week, I'd probably be selling them. Do be careful with Wood. I'm not sure how secure his minutes are now. I think he might be being replaced by their new striker. But the zonal looks really good. So you've got to play them if you own them. But tricky. Next up, we have Spurs, and just the one flank that's standing out here against Brighton, and that's the right flank, where Xavi Simons and 𝐙𝐨𝐬 are. I really like Simons. Simons is a great shout. I might be thinking of a sideways move from Kudus to him. He's taken loads of the set pieces off like Porro, and just looks really good. So Simons is my shout this week. Be careful of Richarlison. Obviously, he got benched last week. So if you own him like I do, sadly, it might be time to move him on soon. Then we have Brighton, and Brighton are a team to avoid for me at the moment. There's too many players that to choose from, and never quite sure what the starting 11 is going to be, and who's going to miss out or who's going to score the goals that they do get. So I think there's better options than Brighton right now. Man United again. Mbeumo is my player of choice if you had to choose a Man United option, and obviously chances conceded down the left flank looks all right for him this week. I think he's got quite a few different routes to points, and is kind of starting to show some of the stuff that we've seen him previously at Brentford. But as a team, Man United still just aren't in sync. So again, if you've got Mbeumo or you've got Bruno, they're okay to play, but I wouldn't be bringing them in this week. And then finally, we've got Sunderland who play and Villa, and something that we probably wouldn't have expected to see at the start of the season. But Villa's numbers aren't looking great. Loads of chances conceded. So if you've got a Sunderland player, or you need somebody if you want to make a move for one of the big players and you need someone to downgrade. Sunderland have been doing really well, and the matchup this week looks good. Ronaldo, really like him because he's good. He can obviously get clean sheets as well as attacking returns. Yeah, he would be my Sunderland pick, would be Ronaldo, I think, and looks good for the zonal this week.
Right. Okay. Let me just bring out the next slide then. Here it is. Yeah, over to you then in this.
Yeah, again, like some of the promoted teams haven't been looking too bad at all. So Leeds, another one. We've known from the past, from when they've been in the Premier League, they've been quite attacking. Wolves have been pretty dire, similar to Villa. So again, they're quite a good cheap option if you need money elsewhere, if you need to downgrade, so you can upgrade somewhere else. I don't mind a Leeds option this week at all. Then we've got Newcastle and Bournemouth, who play each other, which I think will be a tricky fixture. Obviously, nobody's standing out for either team. They've both been really good defensively this week. I think the big thing to note here is if you have got somebody like a 𝐸menyo, while the numbers don't look great on here, Newcastle have just played in the Champions League midweek, so they will be tired from that. So I still think somebody like 𝐸menyo could get you a return this week. But in general, I'd be avoiding buying either of these teams this week because it's not going to be an easy fixture, I don't think. Then we have Chelsea. Nobody standing out on the zonal here, sadly, which makes my captaincy choice a little bit tricky because I was planning on going João Pedro and it doesn't look great. So I may need to rethink that. But yeah, again, if you've got them, they're okay to keep, but don't be going and buying. I think especially we've now seen some rotation now that we know that they're going to have midweek fixtures as well. We've seen 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐬 get benched last week. So I think probably going forward, your players like Palmer and João Pedro will be quite safe, but otherwise, yeah, watch out. There will be some rotation there. Next up is Crystal Palace, who play against West Ham, and we've seen how West Ham have been struggling this season, so it's not a surprise that quite a few of the team's players are standing out here. The obvious one is Munoz. Chances conceded down the left flank, ranked third. Crosses conceded down the left flank, ranked second. So he's got lots of opportunity for an attacking return this week. But also, obviously, as a defender, he can get a clean sheet against West Ham and potentially even DEFCON. He's not a DEFCON monster like we've seen, but he has the possibility to be able to get him. So, yeah, Munoz. If you don't own a Munoz this week, I think he's a great transfer in. Then we've got Burnley, and yeah, again, a bit of a surprise. Forest was one of the go-to defences last season, and they've just been really poor this season. So, and Burnley have been quite attacking. Some of their players like Cullen, like Anthony, they've had some of the highest scoring attackers right now. So again, if you're looking for to move money out of a position, some of their attackers, you can't really go wrong. They're so cheap, but it could be a good matchup for them this week. Then we've got Fulham, and I just find Fulham really tricky to call from a minutes perspective. I think they're a really good team and they're really attacking, and you feel like they're always going to score. But who it's going to come from, I really don't know. Minutes are really tough. I do like King, but again, he's not been getting like more than kind of half a game. So I think they're an avoid for me, which is sad, just from a minutes perspective. And then finally, we've got Villa. And yeah, Sunderland have been looking really good. These numbers, like obviously ranked 16th for chances conceded down the right flank in the centre. So I don't think players like Watkins or Rodgers are going to be getting many chances this week. Again, definitely an avoid if you don't already own them. If you do own them, you probably bought them for this fixture, so it's not the worst thing to play them, but I would be trying to move Aston Villa assets on soon.
Yeah, thanks, Bethany. I don't know what really is wrong with Aston Villa this season, but whatever it is, I hope it gets sorted soon because it's just like every week we go with a little bit of hope with Aston Villa and then get utterly disappointed with all the players that we have currently, be it, I mean, even when the zonal is kind of screaming points, they have failed to deliver, to be honest.
It just makes no sense
Anyway,
because they're so good pre-season. That's what we went for. Why we went with them, because they were known assets that we knew were consistent. They've done a really good job in the summer of pre-season, and then they've come in and looked just like not even look like they're going to score a goal. And it's obviously making things more template because you've got less options. So players would normally have had Watkins or Rodgers in the mix of players, which is pushing people towards like everyone's going to own Semenyo because no one's got Rodgers and things like that, or everyone's going to move towards Gyökeres because nobody's going to have Watkins. So from a game perspective, it's nice to have more options available. So yeah, hopefully they sort themselves out soon.
True, and I agree with that. And it's just, I think it's just a recent form slump, I would call it. I think the whole team is kind of going through that, low or slow motion, and I don't know how to term it, but yeah, we call it out of form completely. I think the whole team is suffering that. Yeah, that's it. But I think they'll bounce back soon, and let's hope this could be the match that turns things around, because it's been now a month since FPL started. But
yeah, they've not
anyway,
scored in the league yet.
Yeah, they haven't. No, true. So here's the team of the week. Would you please go through this one?
Yep, I think I've kind of covered my favourites from here. But yes, if I was going to be picking some of these for not just this week, but people who could be good long term as well. Munoz, I think, because he's got so many routes to points. So as well as looking good this week, he can continue to get those points in any game. Simons, I really like going forward. I think he might be the Spurs attacker. We've seen loads and loads of points from Spurs, but it's been hard to call where the points are going to come from. I think Simons might be the one that gets in there more regularly. So I do really like him. Similarly, Gyökeres, I think he's got some really nice fixtures coming forward. And I wasn't going to go this week for him because the fixture look trickier on paper, but it's nice to see that the zonal suggests he could be an option if you did want to move a forward on this week. He looks quite good for the this week, and then he's gets much easier fixtures going forward after this. So yeah.
What do you think about Simons as a sort of a replacement for Kudus? I know it's a sideway move, but still.
I like him. He's Kudus was disappointing. Like I went with him from the start of the season, and he's not really racked up any XG. I think he maybe should have, like last week, he should have got the assist, but the goal was ruled out. So he's unlucky there, and owners were unlucky. But in general, he hasn't really looked like he's been in the positions to get points. Like, not that he's not doing anything good for the team, just from an FPL perspective. Whereas I think Simons, with him being more on some of the set pieces, and also he's more of a goal threat as well as just an assist threat. I think he could be the move.
Yeah, I probably also would move for Carcase and change one of my defenders. But before that, I need to offload Bruno Fernandes, but I don't think so. I'll be doing that before Game Week 5. So, yeah, let's just wait. Anyway, here's the zonal goal conceded. So this is the new addition that we have for this season. So with the data coming in and with the goals being scored, and I think the picture is becoming a bit more clear. And I think with more data, let's say about another 2-3 weeks, and I think it becomes quite solid, right? But we'll be piling it up for the entire game week. Entire season. So it would become quite heavy. But yeah, over to you, Bethany, with the goal considered zonal wise chart.
Yep. So I'll just go through a few from here. So obviously the worst is West Ham, and we've already spoken here about having some Palace players. And they are playing at home as well. And at the moment, it's looking like West Ham are even worse at conceding goals when they're playing at home. So that definitely looks like it could be good from a Crystal Palace perspective. I think any Palace assets you own could do well in this game. Munoz definitely, but Mateta, Lacroix, any of them could do really well. I'm very gutted that Sarr is sitting on my bench and not going to play this game. But yeah, West Ham definitely a team to target. Then we've got Wolves, and like I said earlier, I think if you did want a punt, maybe if you're going for a wild card soon, or if you need some money and you want to free it up, a Leeds attacker is not a bad idea either this week. And then finally, I'll just go over, it's interesting to see that Forest is ranked 3rd, which is, a complete change of events compared to last season. And noticeably, Forest is ranked even worse than Burnley. So as somebody that has 𝐙𝐸 and Dubravka, I am going to play Dubravka this week over 𝐸. And yeah, I think that could be the way to go. I just think Forest are so bad at the back right now. And I don't think that's going to get any better with their new manager, sadly. So they're a sell for me. And if you've got the option to bench them this week, if you can't sell them, definitely bench them.
All right. And then we'll just bring out the last last 5. So worst 5, let's just call it, or the best 5. Yeah. Over to you.
Yeah. So the ones that are looking best, again, aren't a particular surprise. I don't think Arsenal is always there season after season. So maybe not the week to go for it because it's Man City, but definitely over the coming weeks. Arsenal, I think probably we bring them in now and then we just set and forget them all season, to be honest. They've managed to keep some clean sheets against some tricky teams already, only letting the 1 goal, and that was like a wonder strike. Definitely be heading towards Arsenal defence, at least 1, if not 2. Interestingly, like Spurs, it's crazy what a new manager has done in such a short period of time. He's made such a massive difference to Spurs defence. So definitely keep Spurs defenders, I think. Again, only conceded the 1 goal. Really like them because all 3 of them, particularly Romero and Van de Ven, because they're cheaper than Porro actually. But all 3 of them have got that attacking threat, as well as getting DEFCON, as well as getting the clean sheets. So they kind of have so many options for getting points that definitely don't bench them like I did. I've learnt my lesson and it will not be happening again. Really like Spurs defence. Again, I think they kind of could be season-long keepers now. Just pick them and keep them and play them in good games and harder games. And I think they could still get those points. So that's really nice. And then, again, Palace defenders are great. Only conceded the 1 goal as well. And they also have multiple routes to points. They've all got a goal or attacking threat in them. They've all got DEFCON opportunities, and the clean sheet as well as that. So I think everyone should have at least 1 of these 3 defenders in their team, if not double up somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Mickey Van de Ven. I think that's where I'm going, probably. But anyway, thanks, Bethany, for joining us. And audience, I hope you like the show. Sorry again for not being able to do this earlier. You still have about 12 hours to just consume this video of 22 minutes and then just take the best out of it. But the thread is already out. Information is there. This sport is more about the 16 teams that we tend to cover. The thread is more about the 8 teams. But thank you so much, Bethany, for joining us again. And we'll see you in game week 7, right? If I'm correct. All right. But until then, thank you. Bye-bye.